Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. I'm really excited for what we get to discover today. As we were doing our rounds of gratitude, I was just really struck about how many things were shared that felt like letting go of the past and stepping into the new, breaking old patterns, new day to implement rejuvenation, purging, renewal, evolving, just several, grateful for new and old friends, just lots of things that was like out with the old, in with the new kind of thing. And grateful to Tyree for suggesting that we focus on rebirth. I felt like that just really encapsulated everything that has been shared already before we even started the recording. So for those of you, if you haven't joined live, it's really an awesome experience to be on the call live. First of all, we do, some breathing exercises and some gratitude at the beginning just to kind of get us warmed up. And that's kind of a fun experience just in itself. And then being part of the call, you're actually helping to create it. And so just as Tyree suggested rebirth, she was a very integral part of what we get to focus on today. And everybody who is on the call so far, what you've shared so far has actually led us to this particular subject. So by being on the call live, you're getting a personalized experience because you are part of it. The things that you add to the live call actually create the direction that the call goes in. And the mastermind part of it, after we do our private meditation, the things that you share, really, if you're actively participating on the call, I'm sure that you've been in like an event or something and somebody asks for a volunteer. And if you go up and volunteer to whatever it is that, some exercise or something that they're going to do at the front of the room, it's a little bit scary, but you know that you get the most out of that experience. Everybody in the audience is experiencing vicariously through you, but it's personalized to you because you're the one that's the volunteer at the front of the room. And so kind of the same way, not quite as scary maybe as that, but it's kind of the same way here on the gratitude call. When you have the confidence and the courage to share and be here live and be part of it, you're going to get an even richer experience, and it's going to be guided and directed based on, thoughts that you share. So if you haven't been on live before, I encourage you to try it. Looks like we do have one new person here. I'm not quite sure. I don't have a name to the phone or the computer description that is there, but welcome and thank you for joining us. And just, want to give that invitation out to everyone that is listening to this podcast. If you haven't tried being on live, I encourage you to do that. 7 a.m. Mountain Time, every Monday through Friday. We'd love to have you join us. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our 90-second meditation. We do a 90-second meditation on our subjects today, gratitude for rebirth. And the reason why I chose 90 seconds, haven't said this for quite some time. Some of you have been on for years, know why we do this, but I haven't said it for a long time. So the reason why we do 90 seconds is because it's been scientifically proven that if you hold a thought for 80 seconds, you actually it's like you're sending out your order into the universe that thought will actually begin becoming a real thing. And so I do 90 seconds because I know sometimes it takes about 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds to kind of get grounded, get, really out of your head into your heart. And so I give you that extra 10 seconds to be able to get really settled into focusing on this thought today of gratitude for rebirth, and to be very open and listening to inspiration that might come to you. And then holding those beautiful thoughts for 80 seconds, you're beginning the creation, the physical creation of those thoughts that are coming to you. So we're going to move into that right now. 90-second private silent meditation on gratitude for rebirth. And I'm going to set a timer and I'll let you know when that's over. So gratitude for rebirth, 90 seconds, begin. All right. This was kind of interesting. In the natural progression of life, I saw that there are a lot of opportunities for us to have a rebirth. Just first of all, the first birth here on earth is actually a rebirth, because we lived before and our spirits have always existed, and we came to earth and were reborn into having a physical body. So that was like a completely new life experience. I was baptized at the age of 8 years old. And when I came out of that water, that was a rebirth, having my sins washed away and starting my life all over again, basically fresh, clean, new, and with the opportunity to make my own choices between right and wrong. Marriage, I think, was a rebirth for me. Even just the events that led up to my marriage, that was for me really a rebirth in my own personal self-worth. I'm not going to get into details, but my husband was very instrumental in helping to bring me out of my shell. If you'd known me back then, I graduated as an accountant and I was like super introverted and couldn't hold a intelligent conversation with anybody. So that for me was a rebirth. Empty nester. I still have one daughter still at home, but she's at work or with her boyfriend most of the time. And so that has been a new experience for Clint and I to have, to be back to just a couple mostly. When I had a heart attack when I was 50 years old, that for me was a rebirth, because there was, it was a moment of, this could be my last day on earth. And then realizing that I was not going to die and I had years ahead of me, that was a rebirth for me. And that was where I can really mark that as a pivotal point in my life, just like some of the other ones that I've shared, a pivotal point where I became really a different person. And then death and resurrection is the next natural life progression that I know of. There might be some others that happen along the way, but I wrote that as like the next one that I see. So I become a new person, with these rebirth opportunities that happen as a natural progression of life. My husband, several of you know him. He he's still alive, but he died in a motorcycle accident in 1981, and remembers an experience from the other side, and then came back and was given, an opportunity to continue living on. And but he didn't get the opportunity to. He was actually sent back. It wasn't time for him. And I met him after his motorcycle accident. So I'm really grateful, that he had that opportunity to be able to come back, and that, that we've had these 34 years together. I saw that as sort of like a pattern interrupt, and pattern interrupts can be a rebirth. And so it may not be part of the natural progression. I mean, maybe it's part of God's natural progression for us, but it doesn't feel like, a part of just the natural progression of life. But we can experience a rebirth through a pattern interrupt, whether that is an outside circumstance that causes that pattern interrupt, or if we make a choice that chooses, we're choosing into a rebirth and experience, having a new life experience based on a choice. Who else has something they would like to share?
I'll share. I really like this topic. I like that Tyree chose the word rebirth. I recently read a book called Following the Light of Christ into His Presence. It's a really good book. I can share it on the Facebook page.
That's perfect. Thank you.
And he talks about the rebirth as a significant spiritual event. It could be any of the events you just named, a baptism, or just a time in your life when you just have a spiritual shift, or a mighty change of heart is another term we use. And he talks about how when we have the rebirth, like a spiritual event, we go through a honeymoon phase afterwards where we have no disposition to do evil but to do good continually, and we just all we want is to be righteous and be perfectly obedient. And then we go through a phase where we get tempted, and we probably get trials that are from God to kind of test us to see if we're going to hold to that spiritual rebirth and stay strong. And we're endowed with more power after the rebirth to make it through those trials, and they actually strengthen us, and we can get to the point where we're grateful for them because they've made us grow so much more. And he explains it just so powerfully. And he talks a lot about just hearing the Spirit in our mind, and how when the Spirit speaks, it speaks in definite terms, like go there, don't do that. Whereas our mind will say, well, should I do this? Should I go there?
Mm-hmm.
And then Satan's voice is always going to be, putting us down. And so it's such a good overview of what it means to have the light of Christ in us, and companionship with the Holy Ghost.
Wow, beautiful. Lots of really great. I don't want to add anything or comment on anything that you've shared because it's just so pure and powerful. I want to just reiterate one thing that you said about gratitude. That rebirth that happens within a trial is what creates the gratitude for the trial. And that's the most powerful place that we can be when we get through to the other side and we can find gratitude for that trial. Thank you. Who else has something they'd like to share?
add to that, because sometimes when we face health challenges, we tend to question, why me, why me? And then when we begin to shift our thoughts, we begin to realize that it's a part of life, it's a part of our spiritual growth, and it can really bring us to a new level of understanding, a new level of growth. And that while we are going through it, it might be tough, but I find that that's the time when you really find out who your true friends are, and you find out about your own strength, and you find out so many things about yourself that you didn't know you were capable of. So, and afterthought, you think about it and you say it was really like a blessing in disguise, like the universe was cooperating with me to bring out that which I had locked in myself maybe for years. So that's my thought on it.
Beautiful. Thank you. I had the thought, like I was talking about being born into this world where we gain a physical body is a rebirth. It's like an opportunity for us to have some new experiences. In some ways, it frees us because as a spirit, there are some things that we can't really do unless we have a physical body, but also in other ways, it encumbers us. We can't just like flip here to there, just with a thought, because we have this physical body that we have to lumber around in. We have to actually be able to, get up and go move somewhere, have to lift this 100 and whatever pound body, up, and, or 200 and whatever pound or whatever the weight is. But what you're saying, Sylvia, I'm seeing that there's even like a finer, a rebirth into a finer grade of this physical body. And just as like fine steel is tempered and all of the slag, all of the impurities are burned out of it, through just heat and pounding. That's what makes the finest, strongest, most pure metals is high heat and pressure. And diamonds become diamonds out of a piece of coal from high heat and pressure. And so if that's true for the elements, it must also be true, for us, that fire of, that fire that in the pressure of trials and challenges, whether they be health challenges or financial challenges or wherever they are, that they allow us to step into that fire of, dripping away all of the impurities. And it's almost like going back to that spiritual state, but having access, to everything that the body gives as well, but really refining and purifying through turning to God, through, using Christ as our advocate, and also through the atonement to really purify that body that we have. Any other thoughts?
I do.
Okay.
Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
My first thought was about a plant. The plant that comes back every year, it sleeps and it hibernates. And then when the sun and the springtime come, it just bursts out of the ground and becomes a new growth in a new life. And I thought about a company that's kind of failing, and when you put a new idea into it, you give the company new hope, new life, new direction to go into, a new project, and this brings rebirth into the company and starts to grow again. And so new ideas bring rebirth into not only people's lives and their businesses, and the things around them. But I also thought of a third category is when someone believes in you, and that's when you're feeling down and you're feeling lost and you've tried, these things and they continue to fail. And well, when someone believes in you and stands next to you and shows you, hey, your path is good. Let's do this. Let's do this together. That brings rebirth into the person, allows them to grow, to choose, and they become the person they always knew they could be, because that person that's supporting them, like a wife or a husband, that believes in what you want to become and your goal and supports you in that direction. And so rebirth is a change within you that brings new life, new hope, new dreams, and maybe even the same ones back.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. That's something that I hadn't considered, but it's absolutely true. Rebirth can happen just with the spark of an idea, and whether that idea comes from God, as inspiration within yourself, or if it comes as a spark of faith from another person that is like, wow, if that person believes in me, maybe I should believe in myself too. Regardless of, and I think that's probably from God as well, just knowing exactly what we need, because he knows us so well. I love that. Just super grateful for these opportunities that we have for rebirth. Let's go ahead and shift into our permission process, because that's kind of what we do in that permission process. Is we invite those inspired thoughts to come in that really produce, the next step for the next stage on our path of progression. And as we listen for those inspired thoughts, it's an opportunity for that spark, to be put into our heart, that will really empower us and give us courage to step forward from this call with renewed hope, with renewed, like a spring in our step, almost like, being born again and having all that energy that a little kid has. So thanks for everybody that has shared. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. And I invite you to just be open to be taught. As a newborn baby coming into a foreign, alien world where it needs to learn language, it needs to learn how to walk, it needs to learn so many different things, everything, how to live within the social situation of their family, everything that is new and different and exciting and challenging, all of that. Just be aware and just allow yourself to be in that newborn baby state, being reborn. And first of all, become aware of the past, of the world that you're coming from, and whether you are seeing negative or positive things, it's all good. And also just, being in this state of being a brand new baby, not knowing anything of the new life, the new direction, the new space that we're stepping into today. And then also being aware of potential, what you're capable of at your highest and best, and expressing gratitude to heaven for all of that as well. And just feel the gratitude for all of it, past, present, and future. And also that you have the power to choose. So I invite you to be really present right now in this moment. We've acknowledged the past, we've acknowledged the future, and I invite you to just be really present right now. And the first question I have for you is, what is the one most important thing that I can do today that will ensure my success as I am stepping into a rebirth right now, making a choice to be new, different, better, stepping into my highest and best self. What is the one most important thing that I can do today? What's my inspired shortcut to have success in reaching my full potential, being reborn today to move towards becoming my best, my highest and best? And as you're becoming more clear with what that inspired shortcut is, just to also be listening for any limiting beliefs that might be showing up. Might be a limiting belief about the inspired shortcut that you've received, thinking that's too hard, or oh, that's too simple, that can't be it, whatever. Or it might be a limiting belief that's showing up about you stepping into a new life, that you're leaving that old life, maybe not leaving it behind, because these are experiences that you do carry with you, but allowing the past to be the past and to fully step into the newness of this new life you're stepping into. Maybe there's a limiting belief about that. Whatever the limiting belief is, just write that down. And then what is the cost? What's the cost to your rebirth if you hold on to that limiting belief? What will that limiting belief, what's the outcome that that limiting belief will bring you if you keep it? And as you're becoming more clear with that limiting belief and the cost, you have a choice right now. You can keep it and you can continue living your life with this limiting belief now that you know what it's been producing, or you can give yourself permission to choose new, to let go of that limiting belief and to choose a new belief. And if you're ready to do that, to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. So what are those new beliefs? Let's pick 2 or 3 new beliefs that will take the place of that old limiting belief, will empower you to step forward and become new in this rebirth process, allow you to be confident and courageous in stepping into your new world, knowing that everything is going to be provided. You're going to receive the instruction that you need. You're ever the student. The teacher will appear as soon as you are ready to receive that. What are some new beliefs that will really give you the courage and the confidence and the power to be able to step into this new life courageous and confident? And I invite you now, as you are getting clear with those new beliefs, to close your eyes and envision. Read those new beliefs and breathe them into yourself and just kind of get a sense of what they are meaning to you. And then allow those new beliefs to become part of you, and that they give you the courage and the confidence to step fully into this new world. And just as with a birth, a physical birth here on the earth, there comes a moment when that baby is just like done, finished in the womb, and is ready to come. And whether the mother is ready or the house is ready or the, whatever the situation, that baby is ready to come. And this is a time right now that you are feeling ready, that even if it's a little bit scary because you don't know what's going to be on the other side, that you are feeling ready. It is time. I am done with that old life and I'm ready to step into the new. And with that courage, see yourself taking a step through that portal, through the doorway, whatever it looks like to you. Take a step into your new world and just feel the difference. Having these new beliefs have changed your very being inside. And because we always align our surroundings by our beliefs, that your environment has actually changed as well. And what does your life look like as you're stepping in? Even if it's unfamiliar, what does it feel like to have left that old life behind and stepping into the new? I'm looking at the time and I'm realizing that we are at the end of our time today. So I encourage you all to go to the Breakthrough with Gratitude Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude Facebook group, and share your experience there. I want to also invite anybody that is struggling in any way whatsoever with this, this visualization that we did, or this concept of rebirth, to reach out to me and schedule a free 15-minute mentoring session with me. And you do that by going to askwylene.com, and that will take you to my calendar, and you can schedule a time that's convenient for you. askwylene.com. All right. Thank you all for being on our call today. We look forward to being back together Friday morning, or today is Friday, so we won't be here Saturday and Sunday. So I encourage you to continue your gratitude, your daily GPS practice throughout the weekend. And we'll be back Monday morning at 7 a.m. And super excited to also read about your experience on the Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. So we look forward to connecting there as well. Thank you all for being here. We'll look forward to next week.
Thanks, Wileen.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WyleenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.